Good morning and welcome to Trail Grazers, where today we are going to be taking you with us on a day trip. This is just a location that is fairly close to us, a little more than an hour away from our home, and it's called Snow Canyon. And the geology is very interesting. The scenery is beautiful. We're getting ready to pack up our lunch right now. These are two new acquisitions, recent acquisitions, and what I realized was that I wanted something to carry soup in individual containers, and so that it would keep warm until we're ready to eat. So we'll be having lunch out there. And this is our homemade chicken noodle soup with homemade noodles. I love homemade noodles. They're thick and big, and that's just exactly the kind of noodles that I like. So this little red one is a Thermos brand, and this is, of course, mine. It will hold about 2 cups, but I don't ever eat that much, so I'm going to fill it about, 2/3 full. And that will be enough for me. And this thermos has its own little spoon in the cap. It's a foldable spoon. You just pop it out and then open it up, and so we don't even need to take any other utensils. So my lunch is packed, and here we go with Jim's. Jim's is a Stanley brand, and it has its spoon attached to the front. So once again, we don't need to take any utensils. This is a 24-ounce thermos, so it holds 3 cups. And I left just a little bit. Honey, is that enough for you, do you think?
Yeah, that's fine.
Okay. With the cap. And the cup. So, both of our lunches are packed. Napkins, paper towels, and some leftover croissants that we have had just around the house. So just gathering up what we have. It will be a very simple lunch. It's cold outside. It's upper 30s right here. By the time we get down there into the park, it will be in the mid 40s. That is that's too cold for me to hike. I am not a big hiker anyway at my age. I used to hike all over the place, but I just don't, physically I can't do it anymore, and so I've accepted that fact, and we go on little walks and we do what we can do. But it's beautiful country. We're going to stop at a place where we can look down into the canyon. Then we're going to go up and show you up around the corner from the canyon to a cinder cone that has contributed to the geology of that canyon. So we will be on the road shortly, and we'll pick up just about the time we get to where we're going to turn off and look over the edge of the canyon. We are approaching the canyon, so I'm going to give you some shots of some of the scenery that is around. Some of the red rock is Kayenta Formation. Other formations are the Navajo sandstone. You can see the tops are black. That is basalt from a lava flow, and that's where we will go after we get looking at the lookout. All right, we have arrived at the lookout, and I am so excited for you to see this. White Navajo sandstone. And then as we move in this direction, you can see the color of the Navajo sandstone changing from white to red. And throughout the canyon, there are all the colors of Navajo sandstone, from the deep red crimson color all the way to white. So I think this is Navajo sandstone was laid down about, I think about 190 million years ago. And then, of course, it was deformed. You can see some stripes When you can see the stripes and the layers, you know that it is sedimentary rock. Sedimentary is laid down from sediments which settle over the topography of the land in layers, and so you can sometimes see the layering. Other times the rocks are deformed where things are turned upside down. Generally with sedimentary, you can pretty much count on the top layers being younger than the bottom layers. Right here we're looking at a petrified sand dune, a larger petrified sand dune there, and there's a hike down in there where you can see, but now you can see down into the canyon where the ribbon of road follows the contour of the land between these great big iceberg looking slabs of Navajo sandstone. So we're going to go down and check it out. One of the things I do want you to notice is that we're standing right here where there has been a lava flow. Lava has come in, and you can see it out there in the field. This area is dotted with cinder cones. We're going to go visit a cinder cone right now, which contributed to these lava flows right in the canyon, and they just covered up the stone like icing on a cake. We are at the cinder cone. You can see it just a little bit behind me. So I'm going to turn the camera around and we're going to follow a lava flow back around to where the cinder cone is. So here is the lava flow, thick flow. And it has plastered this area with all this basalt. Now we're almost going to be straight into the sun, so I'm not sure how well the picture of the cinder cone is going to turn out, but there it is. And it's just a small little thing, and there are several in this area, all of which contributed about 1 million years ago up to about 1,000 to 2,000 years ago is when these were actively flowing lava all over the place. So now we're going to go back down into the canyon, and we'll be able to see not just the sandstone formations, but also how the basalt is like frosting on a lot of the formations. So here we go. Here is the entrance to the park, and we're going to head right down into the canyon. So there is the white sandstone that we saw from the Overlook, and we are coming up on the many colors of Navajo sandstone. What we are looking for now is a place we can pull out and have lunch. So we're looking back up to about where the Overlook is, and you can see where the lava flow is on the top up there. And you can see the lava flow all down the side of this formation to our left. There is the petrified sand dune we saw from the Overlook, and here's another larger one right in front of us. There's a little hike that goes back in behind these petrified sand dunes, but we're just going to give it a little drive-by here. Years ago, when I hiked this area a lot, I had talked to the ranger, and they were seeing if there was an agave called Agave utahensis, and they said there is none in the park. Well, we went hiking and we found one and reported it to the ranger, and so that's how utahensis got in the list of plants for Snow Canyon, was that we found one on our hike. So here is a great shot of how the lava has come from that little cinder cone and coated this area. And I see picnic tables. Yay, yay! Okay, and it's all ours. Woohoo! So we're going to park here, set up for lunch, and we'll come back. So It's later in the afternoon than I thought. We're a little bit past lunchtime. That's why we're so hungry. So here we are all set up. There's a little bit of a breeze. So I've weighted down the ends with my water bottle and Jim's thermos. And so we're going to sit down and have our lunch. And then I think we're going to just go on a little bit of a walk, not a real hike. We're not dressed for hiking. And it's a little bit breezy and cool-ish. So I think our 50 degrees is starting to diminish here. So we'll be here for lunch for a few minutes, and then we will pack up and walk down a trail for a little ways. So we're going to just head down this trail for just a little ways. I'd like to get a close-up of the formation directly in front of us. This little trail, the signage on this trail talks about desert tortoises, which are a protected species in this area. A lot of places around here have little knee-high fences to keep the tortoises off the roads, so that makes it nice. We'll come up on a picture in just a minute. But the little mound in front of us, well, it's not little, but the formation in front of us is such a perfect example of what has happened here with the Navajo sandstone being covered by the basalt. You can see up in the top leftish quadrant of this mountain some columnar.
Close enough.
The basalt that looks like fence posts. And then some of it has broken off and eroded down and fallen down the hill. We're standing by the first. This little trail is called Tortoise Walk, and there's a desert tortoise, and they are inhabitants of this area, and quite incredible creatures actually to be able to survive, because sometimes temperatures here reach, as it says in the signage, 117 degrees. So how they manage is pretty remarkable.
7.5 inches of rain a year.
Yeah, not much. So there's the hill. Just next to it, you see more evidence of the lava flow there. So we're going to go down just a little ways farther. So beautiful here. I love the colors. Navajo sandstone is a favorite stone of mine. I guess it's because I've lived in the area where it has made all of these magnificent formations. That's why it is pretty special to me. So here we are, getting a little bit of a closer look. I'll come in just a little bit. I love this formation for the story that it tells. You know, if you learn to read the land, you can understand history. The geological history is what I'm talking about. And I've always wanted to do that. I'm not as good as I would like to be. And it has been a long time since I've reviewed the geology of Snow Canyon. There's a park headquarters down the way, so I'm going to check to see if I can find something there that will help me with the geology. I want to be accurate about the things that I say, so we'll come back out. So this is pretty amazing, and to see that this is what we're looking at is about 2 million years worth of geologic history right there. First in this area, the sediments were laid down, and an earlier formation called the Kayenta Formation was here. We'll see some of the Kayenta at the south end of the park. For the Kayenta to have formed, sediments had to wash into this area from meandering rivers that were all across the land in those times. And then they built up, formed the Kayenta. The Kayenta is a much more sloping rock than the Navajo sandstone is. And it's very red around here too, so we'll see some. Then we had this huge desert event that formed the Navajo sandstone, that also formed Zion National Park. And then just a short time ago, in geological time, which is about 1 million years ago, is when the basalt, the lava flows, started coming into this area. So there's lots of other very interesting geology where people who really know what they're doing can just read when deformities have turned rocks upside down, so you read from the bottom up instead of the top down. But it's pretty intriguing. This is such a lovely area. We've come about 1/4 of a mile, So we're going to head back to the truck and drive farther down. We'll stop at the park headquarters. Yeah, they have a little bookstore there. At least last time I was here, they had a bookstore. So we'll see you then. So we're driving now down toward park headquarters. You can see these massive formations to our right and our left. They have a nice little campground down there. Jim, we should come down here sometime and camp. We couldn't bring Blue with us, but we could at least camp and bring our bikes.
Sure, sounds like a good idea.
More lava flow over there.
How about next week?
Our trailer is still winterized.
Oh, well, we can just, camp out in the tent.
In the tent.
Yeah.
It gets cold down here at night still.
Oh, well, we can cuddle.
With the sun on those rocks, you can really see the beautiful colors. So we'll stop here for just a few minutes so we can run into the bookstore and check things out. It's one of my favorite things to do is to check bookstores out at state and national parks. So we'll pull in right here and be back on the road in just a few minutes. Well, I'm really excited. Jim picked up camping information. Hookups down here are very reasonable, so we may come down in the spring with our trailer. And I got a little booklet that is the geology of Snow Canyon, so I can be more accurate when I talk about Snow Canyon. And then we just got their little the little entry brochure that gives us trails that we can ride on for our e-bikes. So we love Snow Canyon, and we may be discovering it in a different sense than I ever have before with some of these possibilities. So we're going to head back to the car and go further down the canyon and finish up the drive through the canyon. Okay, back on the road. Toward the south end of the park, we should be able to see some Kayenta formation. This still looks to me like Navajo sandstone, although I haven't read my new geology book, so I don't know for sure. Here's the other side. Down the road a little bit, we'll come to some sand dunes. Oh, right to our left, the shiny stuff against the rock, if you can see it. Oh, I'm seeing the reflection, Jim, of our ticket. That's called desert varnish, and that covers the sandstone in this area. It's kind of an iron compound. But there they are up there in the sun. A lot of times there are so many cars and little children all over those dunes, so it is certainly a favorite. So the sandstone here, you can see, is not totally straight up and down, but fairly up and down. Kayenta is a slope-forming sedimentary rock rather than a cliff-forming. Well, it does have cliff forming, but the slopes, the bottom slopes, are usually more slanted, and you can see one in the distance, I believe. Giving it my best shot. There's Ivan's right there in front of us. It's a very fast-growing little community. My son, who lives in our area, works for a major developer down here and manages the water for all of his many hundreds of acres of land out here. Yes, that little peak over there, the farthest one, looks to me like that is Kayenta Formation. So here we are at the exit. Maybe we need to put our ticket back up on that.
Yeah.
We had to show our pass. I got it online this morning, which was great. So as we leave the park and head back home, it has just been a wonderful day. The weather has been fantastic. It's been up, my gosh, it says 55 right now. Whoa, it won't be that warm at home for sure. We climb up to 5,000 feet. We're now down below 2,000 feet where we are. So this has been a great day, and it has given us, I have used Snow Canyon as a study site most of my earlier years. Now I'm thinking more of it as a recreation site where we can do biking and
Hiking and geology studies or geological studies.
bike riding.
Looking for tortoises eye.
Yes, for sure. So here's Jim.
Bye. See you later.
So we are on our way home after a wonderful, magnificent day trip. Thanks so much for being with us, and we will see you again very soon out there on the trail.